Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rising Stories. I'm Corrine Sandifer and I'm your host. I'm super excited about this episode because this is my Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and Small Business Saturday episode. And I have asked a fellow podcaster to join me today. Autumn Beam from Write Your Own Story is here. Love that we both have the word story in our podcast. I love that.
I know. I felt instantly connected to you when we became friends because of our concept of story. And it's so funny because I feel like after doing the story podcast, all of a sudden I'm seeing this concept of writing your own story everywhere. So I've had a couple of guests on my show and they wrote an entire album and it was called The Story. And it was all, and then now on their website, they're sharing people's different stories. And so I feel like this concept has come up everywhere.
It is. And it's been kind of going on. I think there was another guy that's kind of I think he's kind of an entrepreneur type person that talks about storyline and he does all kinds of things with story. And then I was recently in a leadership training thing that had, write your own story in 6 words or less, which is really cool.
Oh, wow.
So it's
That's hard.
It was the Ernest Hemingway kind of theory, which, I don't know if this is true or not, but they talked about it that way. And we all sat around and wrote our own stories in 6 words or less, which is hard, but good and very reflective too. It was really cool.
Yeah, I think the concept of being concise is a really good practice. But I think even more than that, just telling your story, people don't realize how powerful their own stories are. And they're so afraid to share them sometimes, especially if their story comes from a negative place. There's a lot of shame associated with sometimes with our stories and our journeys. And, they come out positive and they can encourage so many people who are going through so many things. And so I love the idea of sharing our journeys and sharing our stories.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Yeah. And with my podcast, I interview entrepreneurs, business owners, and authors, and it's amazing how, it's called Rising Stories because I want to hear how they rose into their, got into their profession and their businesses and how they wrote their books. But inevitably, there's always an enormously interesting story behind it all that launched them or that is part of who they are and how they are succeeding.
Yeah. And, people think that people who are successful just automatically got there, or people ask, how did this person get to this place that they're at? How did they become successful? And so you see the victory, but you don't necessarily see what precedes it. So it's so great that you do that because it's the question that everybody wants to know. How did you get to the point that you were writing these books? How did you start this successful company? And we need the answers to these questions so that we don't feel like we're failing all the time.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I birthed it. And just, I love my podcast and I love my guest and it's been fun. And I'm so thrilled that you agreed to come on. I know it was totally kind of a last minute thing, but I love doing that kind of stuff too, because I think that's where, the magic happens. And I was like, I really want to do this special Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday kind of emphasis on this week because it's kind of chocked full of a lot of things going on. You've got Thanksgiving, which is in a few days. And
yep.
And what's going on with you? Are you a big Thanksgiving person? Like, do you have people over to your house and is your family big? What do y'all do?
Well, my family has become big, but let me tell you, this is like my favorite week of the entire year. And we typically, since we've lived in Central Texas, we go down to my brother and sister-in-law's house because they have a little bit more room than we do when it comes to guests and different things like that. And they have recently adopted in the past year 4 children in addition to the 2 that they already had. So our family has grown by 4 in a very short period of time. So it's been a very cool thing to be able to create traditions with a newer and larger family. So we will go down there on Wednesday and I will help cook the dinner and do all the fun things. And we have our typical recipes that we look forward to all year long. And usually I make this money awesome pumpkin ice cream. It's like a pumpkin pie ice cream.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, and I make it in my ice cream maker, and I use the Williams-Sonoma ice cream pumpkin pie ice cream base, and it literally tastes like you're eating pumpkin pie, but it's ice cream, and it's the most amazing thing in the world. But because we're selling our house this year, because we have to stage the house and everything, so I ended up putting away all of my sort of excess things that I don't use every day, and I didn't foresee that Thanksgiving was coming, and I put away the ice cream maker and went, oh no,
oh no,
why did I do that?
Everybody's gonna be missing that.
I know. And so my sister-in-law, she said, well, I'll just go buy some pumpkin ice cream at the store. And I'm like, it's not the same.
But, no, it's not the same. No.
No. So we have our traditions. And then, Thanksgiving, we will, of course, cook. And then we'll have food around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then our tradition for my sister-in-law and I every single year is to get a newspaper really early Thursday morning so that after dinner – the kids play or we put them to bed, and she and I sit and look through all the Black Friday ads, and we plan our attack.
Oh, wow. I always admire people that do that. That's amazing that y'all do that.
Yeah, we do. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in just a minute. But I want to hear about your Thanksgiving traditions.
My Thanksgiving traditions are very just, we have done all kinds of things. We've done family trips, with either of our parents, either my dad and my stepmom, or I'll go visit my mom, or my mom will come here. Sometimes we'll go to his family. But here lately, we have been here in town, and we'll just either invite whoever, doesn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving, or we have 2 families that we love to attend their Thanksgiving feast and parties, and they will have a huge Thanksgiving dinner with 30 plus, 40 plus people. And we've, these families are near and dear to our hearts, and we've connected with them since our kids were 2 and 3 years old. And now they're grown and married and having fun. And, we still have some young ones in the home, but and they've adopted 2 little girls. And so, it's always fun to go to their house, and we do a traditional football, afternoon football game, which that's always fun, for all of us. And
you play it or you watch it on TV?
Play it.
Stop it. You do? That's amazing.
I usually don't, because I'm terrible, and nobody will want to throw the ball to me. But my husband,
you'll be like Rachel out there in the outfield, in the Friends episode where she's dancing around. She went and got a pretzel,
That's me. That's me. I'm like, what do I do? I don't even know who's on my team. I would forget who's on my team. Oh yeah. So nobody wants me on there. But my husband and my son, they're very athletic. My husband played football for Baylor, so he's everybody wants him on their team, of course. So, it's fun to watch. A lot of times I'll just watch, but I'll go out there and, play every now and then. They'll always, everybody wants you to play just because, and it's fun. But
well, you want everyone to be involved and all that stuff. So that's so cool that you said your husband played for Baylor?
Yes. He played.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Football for Baylor. So
yeah,
we're originally from Texas. So he's from Dallas and I'm from Fort Worth. So
I did not know that. Yeah. We've been friends all this time. I didn't know you're from Texas.
Yeah.
That's so Yeah. My husband got his graduate degree from Baylor.
Oh, okay. So he's a Baylor Bear. Good.
He's also a Baylor Bear. So, and then I have a Baylor cheerleader shirt, and who knows, maybe Dylan will go to Baylor when she goes to college. Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah, it's a great school. I actually did not go to Baylor, but I was there. I got my first teaching job in Waco. So, I have some memories there and roots, so it's fun. It's really grown, I hear. So,
oh yeah, ever since the whole fixer-upper thing happened, that the tourism up there is so much higher. Everyone is. I mean, I have friends from Canada who I have worked with who are planning trips to Waco, Texas, from Canada, and I'm just thinking to myself, who plans a trip to Waco, Texas? Really? Okay, if you're driving through to do something else, I understand. Yeah. But just to plan a trip to Waco, Texas.
They must be big fans.
They must be big fans. But I mean, what they've done, what Chip and Joanna have done up there is nothing short of amazing for the
Yeah.
city. So, I mean, between that and the new stadium and Baylor and everything Baylor has done, Waco is really starting to grow and modernize, and a lot of things are happening there. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our Thanksgiving. We just, either go to a friend's house or we'll have people over. Last year we had people over. My mom, was here, and she has a birthday around Thanksgiving, and so we celebrate that. And this year's a little bit different. I have a married daughter this year, and so we are not doing Thanksgiving with her this year. They're kind of flip-flopping, so she's going to her in-laws for Thanksgiving. And actually, we are actually not having a Thanksgiving.
What?
So we're not having a Thanksgiving this year. Well, we're going to be driving to a cross-country meet in North Carolina this year.
Is this for your son?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we will be in transit, on Thursday, and I'm pretty sure I can convince them to stop at a Cracker Barrel and have some turkey and dressing, because I have to have my dressing. I have to have turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and dressing, which is
we all have our
dressing.
dish, right? We all have our our dish that we have to have.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of what mine is, because Thanksgiving has become very challenging for me with all of my dietary restrictions that have come up in the last few years. And so I can't have bread, and I'm not supposed to have dairy. I for sure cannot have bread, and I have to really significantly limit my dairy and my sugar. Also, I've become allergic to sugar, which is a whole nother,
wow.
I don't even want to talk about it. It hurts my feelings. So I have to decide what is worth breaking my diet for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not all Thanksgiving dishes are created equal when it comes to deciding if something is worth it or not. So I think my two things for me that are seriously worth the cheat are cream spinach.
That sounds good.
And sweet potato casserole, but I like it with the brown sugar and stuff. I don't do the marshmallows. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, who are you? But I love the brown sugar crust on the top, and that's just my thing. So those are my two, it is totally worth it, and I will break my diet for that.
That sounds really yummy. What about, can you have cornbread dressing? Like cornbread stuffing?
Well, typically, most cornbread that I've seen has some sort of flour in it. So it's not just 100% corn. And I'm sure it's out there. And if anybody does have one of these recipes out there that's only corn, send it my way. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Because I have not been able to find one.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, because it has to have some kind of rising element or some type of fluffy element to it to rise and to make bread out of it.
Exactly. So, I just have to, the flour is my hard no, but the dairy and the sugar I might have a little bit of here and there. And so that's how I just have to make some of my eating decisions and stuff like that. But my sister-in-law makes this awesome. It's not mashed potatoes. It's cut up roasted potatoes with bacon and butter and I think it's green onions and cheese and some kind of it has a ranch, I think it's a ranch dressing packet.
Mm-hmm. That sounds delicious.
Seasoned. Oh my gosh, it's the best potato recipe ever. It's so good.
That sounds delicious. Yeah. And do y'all do a big turkey or?
I do the turkey because she cannot deal. She cannot touch raw poultry, particularly one that looks like it is all together versus, a chicken breast. She can handle a chicken breast, but to handle an entire carcass of a bird,
with bones,
she is not having it. So turkey has become my responsibility, and so I will brine it. Typically, I start brining it 3 days before. So today would be my first brining day. And you flip it, you put it in the brining bag in the fridge, and you flip it every 12 hours or something like that. So it gets brine on all sides. And when you roast it, it makes it super tender and moist and delicious. It is amazing.
That sounds delicious. I love brining.
Yes, yes. So I'm like hardcore on my turkey. Like there's certain things I'm really hardcore about. And I went to cooking school when my husband was deployed. And so not like I went to like Le Cordon Bleu or something like that, like nothing like that. But there's a chain in Texas, which if you lived here, you probably heard of it, called Central Market.
Oh,
And
yes.
Central Market has a cooking school. And so what I did when he was deployed, this is before I had my daughter, and I was, basically single for a year. So I went and I volunteered in their cooking school. And so when I volunteered, I was able to basically observe the chefs and what they were teaching the people. And
Hmm.
then every couple of times I volunteered, they would let me actually take a class for free. So I
Wow.
basically spent 9 months in cooking school, and that's how I learned how to cook. And my husband came home and he was like, this is the best.
You've done good. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. So I became really snobby and hardcore about how I cook based on
Yeah.
finally knowing how to do it.
Hmm.
And so that's been really fun. So that has definitely affected my Thanksgiving and my Christmas meals also. So that's been really, really exciting. But let me tell you, the Black Friday-ness, okay? The Black Friday shopping is serious. And some people take this
It's,
very seriously,
yes,
and
they
we take it
do.
very seriously.
Okay. So you plan it out like from 2 o'clock on or whatever time you guys get up. What?
Okay, so let me tell you, people are always afraid of Black Friday who don't do it, and people are like, I would never do that. I would never go out. Those people are crazy. I've heard all of these comments about what people say about Black Friday,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, people, you are doing it wrong. Everyone is doing it wrong. If you are afraid of Black Friday, you are absolutely doing it wrong. There is a right and a wrong way to do it, and of course, that is going to depend on exactly what is on your wish list. But I feel like you kind of have to decide what is worth the pain. So if you want something that you know is going to be the hot toy or the hot electronic item or video game or whatever, I mean, some of those things will sell out at midnight when
Hmm.
the Black Friday stuff goes on sale. But let me tell you, I have been doing this serious Black Friday shopping thing for like 5 or 6 years now.
Okay.
And so here's what we do. This is the secret, Kareen. We plan out our attack, and then we plan out what when we know what we want, then we plan out which stores we're going to go to and in what order, because that matters. Usually Target is first, but of course we always stop at Starbucks and get a coffee because you have to fuel before you commit to the shopping. So we fuel our bodies with some caffeine. Usually Target's first, but we have our little list going, and then what we do is we go at like 6 in the morning. So let me tell
Wow.
you, at 6 in the morning, all of those crazy midnight people who have stood in line for hours trying to follow, at Target, they
Hmm.
actually have people with red balloons, and they are the end of the line. And they're constantly moving throughout the store based on how long the line is, because the lines are so incredibly long, they're around the entire store. So this balloon person, you find the balloons. That's how you know how to get in line. And
Oh,
and that's just craziness. I'm not doing that.
that
Did it,
is.
we did it one year just to test it out and see how it was, and never again. We were like, this is crazy. We're not doing this. So yes, so we get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. All those crazy people, Kareen, they're gone. They have gone to bed. They are gone. So it is dead, 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 dead.
Really? At 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, six
Okay.
o'clock in the morning. These people are dead to the world. They are asleep. They're done shopping, and so we go. We get all our shopping done. 9 times out of 10, in the last 5 or 6 years that we've been doing this, there has only been twice that things on my list were sold out. And
Really?
and the
Okay.
savings was maybe $10 each year. So
Okay.
basically, all of the savings I got from all of the other things I bought were really good, and I spent 10 extra dollars on the one thing that I couldn't get. Like,
Okay.
who even cares?
Right,
Like, who
right.
cares? And I can actually enjoy my shopping. I'm not dodging people. It is dead. And then by the time we get to the front of the line to pay,
Hmm.
there isn't even a line. I walk right up to the register and I
Oh.
pay.
And you're talking about particularly Target,
Target, any of those big box
any of the
retailers
big box
that
retails, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, because a lot of the small businesses in the area, they might have Black Friday sales and specials going on, but it's not very often that those stores are going to open early.
Hmm.
They may have like a special happy hour event, during the day, during working hours, or, sometimes they even do it the week before. Sometimes they do it the week after. It really just depends. So if you have your favorite local small business, then most likely they're probably going to be in kind of normal hours.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have done Black Friday, but it's been years. Like, I want to say 10 years ago. I don't do it anymore. But my daughter and I used to get up with another family that we'd have Thanksgiving with, and we would get up and hit but this is how long ago it was. It might even been longer than 10 years, because Black Friday was just starting to become a thing. And so malls and stores would give like the first 100 customers like a $10 or $20 gift card for coming out.
Yeah.
This was years ago. And so for us, it was worth it. I was like, okay. But we were standing in line for hours. Like,
oh yeah.
Literally like
oh yeah.
hours to get the $20. But of course, each of us got a $20 card, and we shopped, and then we got like a goodie bag. I think they gave us a goodie bag, and we could shop all around the mall. Different places had different, sales going on that were really good. So that's my extent. And then for some reason, we just kind of stopped doing that. And I think we have done some shopping early on Black Friday, but it hasn't been the getting up in the middle of the night or planning out, which I admire people that plan things out, because I think it's so much fun. It sounds so much fun, like an adventure. It's kind of like a hunt in a you've got a purpose. Like we're gonna stop at Starbucks, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna there, and like I think it brings people together, especially like family. Like
it really does.
It's like a sport. It's like something that you're doing together, and then I know a lot of my friends back home will do that, and then they'll go have a big breakfast with their girlfriends and their cousins and their aunts, and they just it's a big event.
Yeah, it can be for some people, and you're right. I think that's a really good point. I think that's the one reason why my sister-in-law and I continue to do it every single year, is because there's like this nostalgia attached to it, because she has 6 children now. And then of course I'm a mom also. And it is our one time a year that it's just the two of us. No children, no husbands. We just get to go and have girl time and shop and do fun things. And so we actually help each other. So she'll know my list, I'll know her list, and we'll tag team things, and we'll help each other find things. And it really is a lot of fun. And the retailers have made it a little bit easier. Actually, it's kind of more complicated and easier at the same time. So like you were saying, like 10 years ago, it used to be that you had to stand in line at Best Buy overnight and camp out in a tent, to be the first 100 people in to get the Xbox for the discount,
right.
And really retailers have done better jobs at planning out their quantities of things that they really need, and they over plan a little bit. So it's not as often that they run out of things anymore, particularly toys, unless it's the hot toy, which this year, the hot toy of the year, there's 2 hot toys this year. One is the Hatchimal, which you cannot find anywhere. Okay. So the Hatchimal, do you remember the Tamagotchi keychains, and they were little animals? Okay. So this is like more of a animatronic stuffed animal version of that. So the animatronic toys have become very, very popular in the last few years. And so it's one of those, and basically it hatches on its own time out of its little egg. Aww. And then it starts to develop skills like a baby would start, or even a baby animal would start to develop skills as it got older, and it learns things. And so that's what this machine does. And it has been so popular, it sold out maybe a week or 2 ago already. And it's not even Christmas yet, or it's not even Black Friday yet. It's like beginning of November. The other thing that sold out was Nintendo came out with this Nintendo Classic, and it looks just like the very first Nintendo with the old controllers and everything. Mm-hmm. Yes. The gray one with the red buttons, and but it has all the games on it built in. You don't need the cartridges for it.
That's awesome.
That thing sold out like in hours. Once it came out.
Well, let me tell you a secret, because and you're right about how these big box places and retailers are, how they're making it a little bit easier for people who are going out on Black Friday. Because the last time I was out on Black Friday, we did try to do a Target run, and one of the things that we were after was my daughter wanted a camera, and this is how long ago it was. It was like a, like a pocket camera, kind of like a point and shoot camera. And so it was like on sale, Target was going to have it for, really cheap. And so I got there, and my girlfriend wanted one too. So I got there, and they were like, nope, we've sold out. And I was like, wow, that was quick. Like, you just started it. Like, I think it was, I got there like 30 minutes after, the time that they opened or something crazy like that, or when they were saying that it was going to start, the sale was going to start. Well, then I went back later on that morning, like probably about 9 o'clock. And I said, do y'all have any of those cameras? Oh, yeah, we have plenty left. And I asked the guy, he told me the secret, in that they release only a few per hour. So that
oh my gosh, that's
everyone
interesting.
else can, get them. So they may release 20 or 30 of them that first hour, and then 20 or 30 the next hour. And so I just happened to catch it at the right time. So instead of, at the end of the hour, I was at the beginning of the hour. So he had plenty.
Yeah, and it also happens once in a while that you'll get lucky and they'll find a box that was hidden in the backstock of the item that is sold out on the shelves, but they just couldn't stock it back fast enough, or it was behind another box and they found it.
Right.
And so now they're stocking it. So you never really do know. And asking people is good because they'll have their little guns with their little inventory on hand and all that stuff. The thing that makes shopping a little bit more complicated now is now there are so many different things that they're doing. So for instance, a lot of the big box retailers like Target and Toys R Us, they are actually coming out with pre-sales that will often end on Tuesday or Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And then Black Friday comes and they have a whole new set of things that are on sale.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you think, oh, I'll wait and I'll buy this on Black Friday because maybe the sale will be better than what's in the ad. But then you go on Black Friday and the item's not even on sale anymore.
So now they're extending it. Now they're yeah.
So you really have to pay attention. So one of the best things that you can do is, if you're really not sure, if you haven't seen there's websites out there that pre-release, leaked Black Friday ads that you can find what's going to be on sale. But, if you're really not sure, buy it. Keep the receipt. If you find it for a better deal, buy it again and return the other one later that you paid more money for. That's the best thing that you could possibly do with the big box retailers to make sure that you get the best deal. So if you have that kind of liquid cash or credit that you can, we pay off our credit card every single month. So we don't really build credit like that. But, if you have the room to work with that within a few days, do it. So that you can save the most money. But don't do anything that you can't afford to do. But that's just a little secret that you can do. And then now there's Cyber Monday, and that's a whole new set of sales.
Yes.
So it's like the sales are spread across this whole weekend, and it's not always the same stuff. So you really have to be careful. I feel like I'm making this sound more complicated and not easier.
No.
But you just have to decide what are those key items that you really, really need/want to get for Christmas. And I pre-shop for birthdays too. So
that's a good idea.
My daughter's birthday is in March. So I will shop on Black Friday for Christmas and her birthday.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I save money on her birthday as well.
That's a great idea. And a lot of times after Christmas, there's a lot of toys and things on sale because they kind of overbought because they want people to overbuy. They want people to buy, so they want to be able to have everything on hand. So I've noticed a lot of toys on sale after Christmas, which is great. Like
that's
in January.
True. And I've been in retail for retail sales for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And what a lot of retailers will do sometimes when determining sometimes the sales are really planned, but they're going to look at their inventories and they're going to see what they have an overstock of. Going up into Christmas. And if they have an overstock of, for say, Razor scooters, then you're going to see a sale on Razor scooters because they are trying to sell them because they have tried to they have to anticipate what's going to sell for the holidays. And sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. And that includes either selling out or having too much of things. So they will plan their sales based on what they've already planned, but also based on their inventory. So
gotcha.
You never really know. So don't stop checking ads after Black Friday weekend is over. Keep looking back and seeing what is out there because you may find something that you previously bought that's even cheaper closer to Christmas. So
Yeah. Okay. That makes
just,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, just a little tip. So you are really excited though about Small Business Saturday, and I
Yeah.
want to hear about that.
I am. And I think it's kind of been building for me because now since I started doing a lot of, coaching and with small business owners, I've really kind of, they're near and dear to my heart now. And I'm just like really wanting them to, get the leg up. And Nashville in particularly is just booming with small business owners and shops that are popping up and then of course we have these pop-up shops, that are taking place all over town. And so I'm really wanting folks to really think about making a conscious effort this year to visit those small businesses on Saturday.
Is this a new thing? Is Small Business Saturday a new thing that has been
Yeah.
promoted like Black Friday? Because I don't remember hearing about it, 5 years ago.
I think it's only been like the last 3 or 4 years it's been a big push, where and what I like about it is that shopping, when people say, "Oh, I really shop responsibly. I want to make sure that I'm supporting the small business owners in my community," which is great. And I love that. But I'm also glad that they didn't say, "Hey, shop small businesses on Friday," rather than, I love that they picked Saturday because, people that shop, I mean, I think I'm shopping responsibly when I do go to those big box stores, because there are people that need jobs there, that are working. And so I feel like, I can't really just not shop at Target, or not shop at Walmart or any of those big box stores and feel good about that, because there are people that I know, like at my particular stores, that are, they're hardworking people. And so they need that income. So I don't think that the small business trend should be just all inclusive. I love that they just have it on, I mean, they say do it on Saturday, which is great, because like on Saturday you can leisurely go. It's not Black Friday, so you're not rushed or anything, and you can leisurely go and check out some of the shops in your town, or shop online. There's a lot of online places that are kind of one owner, small, giving back to the community type, trades. Like they've got, one of my favorites this year is Fair Trade Friday, which is one of those, they kind of have one of those club things. Like I just did the earring club, and you pay a certain amount and you get earrings every month. It hasn't started for me yet. I just started it this month. So I should be getting my pair of earrings in any day now. I'm really excited.
Oh, that is fun. Is that fair trade? So is that one of those things where they make them overseas and create jobs overseas, and then you can sort of support them? Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And they do, they support other, I think 100% of the proceeds, support the artisans and, the women and children. And then they also pick like a ministry called Mercy House Global, and it's a nonprofit organization. But they have like a box. You could do a box, or you could do like a bracelet a month, or you could do the earrings of the month. And they'll just send them to you, and you just, pay monthly. I love it.
That is fun. That is fun. And something that I've realized in talking to people over time, because I have a degree in business. So, I've had a lot of extra training in the business field and different things like that, as I'm sure you have. And the thing that people don't know, if they're not familiar with that kind of business education or the economic education, is that they assume these big corporate companies that they're familiar with, JCPenney, Target, Walmart, all these big companies, are the majority of the US economy. And that's actually not true. There are 28 million small businesses in the U.S. today, and that makes up 54% of U.S. sales in the country, which is actually more than, obviously, those big corporate companies. So I love the concept of small business. I love the concept of Small Business Saturday, because we are really are supporting our economy when we are supporting those small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, we are also supporting the dreams of those people who are trying to make their own goals and achieve their own goals. And not that those corporate companies don't have goals, they started somewhere too. But,
Mm-hmm.
this is everyday America, these small business people. We're not talking about corporate executives and, the CEOs that are making millions and millions of dollars and their executives. We're talking about everyday Americans who own a mom and pop shop, who are trying to create their own freedom, to create their own flexibility, see their dreams come to life. And that comes in the form of so many different things. So that might be your local salon, your local baby boutique or clothing boutique.
Absolutely.
That may come in the form of a sole proprietorship restaurant that's really unique, and maybe they do local sourcing for their food and different things like that. So there's a lot of those kinds of small businesses. And the other kind of small business with which some people are into and some people are not based on perception, but your friend who sells Pampered Chef, she is a small business entity. The Pampered Chef is a large company, but all of the people who are consultants with these direct sales companies are independent business consultants. So they have their own businesses. And when you are supporting those people locally, you're supporting their families' dreams, the ability for these families to go to Disneyland and create memories with their children because they're creating these extra income that they didn't have before. The fact that they can now afford to send their kids to dance class and art class for their personal development of their children. They may not be, there are women out there in direct sales who have serious businesses and have achieved some major dreams, and, their husbands stay home and they work. Like there are those stories, and they're more common than you think. But, the vast majority of those people, they're earning a little bit of extra money so that they can afford Christmas, so that they can afford to give their children something, an activity of some kind that achieves their dreams. Mm-hmm. So those are really, really important small businesses to support. And many of those direct sales companies, as well as a lot of small businesses, are supporting larger organizations. So if I can give you for instance, so there's a company out there called Norwex, and Norwex does a lot of cleaning products, and they're green cleaning products. There's no chemicals in their products. And they support organizations that go towards, living in a healthy environment and education to teach people about a healthy environment. And so there's some nonprofit organizations that they support. Pampered Chef supports an organization. I think it's related to breast cancer research, but I cannot remember for the life of me. But I know that there's an organization that they support. 31 Gifts supports so many organizations. They support the Ronald McDonald House charities, all the houses around the entire U.S. and Canada. They support girls organizations because their passion is supporting girls, women, and families. And so Girl Talk and Girls on the Run and all these different organizations every single time, not just if you round up. A lot of them are, round up to the nearest dollar and the change goes, which adds up a lot, actually, to millions of dollars a year. And people don't realize that. But, every single purchase with 31 Gifts goes towards one of those organizations. A percentage of that purchase always goes towards one of those organizations. So these direct sales companies aren't just these dreams. They're also these larger organizations that are being helped and people's lives that are being changed as a result of your lady next door who sells whatever,
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. Excuse me, that you can, purchase something, and that it just, when you're investing, it's almost like you're investing in somebody when you're continuing to purchase something from them. I have a friend who sells soaps, and, she, does a good living on that. And I love that she can then turn around and put that money into something else, and it just keeps the economy growing. I love
absolutely. And that money that they're making is going back into the economy. And for a lot of these women, they have these huge hearts who want to support their local schools, local nonprofits. So many of these women will put together packages to donate to the local charities so it's their dreams, but it's also a lot of community help that's kind of going into a lot of these businesses as well. So, and that's really, really fantastic. And then, of course, there are also your national companies that are helping research and different things like that. One of my favorite places to shop during the holidays for really unique gifts is Williams-Sonoma.
Oh, I love William. Well, you're a cook. Yeah.
I know,
And
I know.
yeah, I love it
Well,
too.
the great thing is you don't really have to be a cook to shop there because they have these pre-packaged like sauces and baking things.
Yes.
And for the holidays, that's just a really fun thing and an easy gift to get for somebody. And one of my favorite things that they have there is the hot chocolate. Their hot chocolate is amazing.
It is
and you
very
can make
good.
it. I mentioned the ice cream earlier, of course. And then they also have mulling spices and an apple cider concentrate that you can put together to have this spiced apple cider. And it is delicious. Like it is so, so good. And so these are really fun things to add to your holiday traditions, but they're also really great gift ideas. And every single time you go to purchase something at Williams-Sonoma, they ask you at the end if you want to donate any money towards St. Jude's research.
Oh, I didn't know they were connected with them.
They are. And so, and I did a little bit of research on St. Jude's, and according to St. Jude's, 83% of their donations actually go toward research. And, there's a lot of these nonprofit organizations out there that, only 8 cents on the dollar goes towards actual research. But St. Jude's research is actually 83 cents on the dollar that goes towards their actual donations. And most of their overhead is through corporate sponsors and different things like that they get. So that's a really fantastic organization to be able to support while getting some really adorable gifts.
Yeah, and there are other businesses that support St. Jude's, and you'll see they'll have their little logo. If they have that logo sticker on the front of their store, you can tell that they are supporting St. Jude. It is very near and dear to Tennesseans' hearts, which I'm in Nashville, and because it's based in Memphis. So we love supporting St. Jude's. That's a great cause, as they don't require their families and patients to pay if they can't pay. So
yeah, exactly, which is why that's why these donations are so incredibly important for those families and for them to be able to continue to help people. Another thing you could do to help with charities and things like that for free, like Macy's. If you go into Macy's and your kid writes a letter to Santa, you can drop it in the Santa mailbox, and for every letter to Santa, they will donate $1 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And that doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to go buy something at Macy's for that to happen. You just drop off your Santa letter at Macy's.
I had no idea about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool little thing.
I wonder if my 15-year-old would write a letter to Santa.
I mean, for a dollar to make a wish.
That's right. I'll convince him.
You can write a letter to Santa for that.
I'll convince him. Yeah. That's a great idea to give back. That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's a good point. We'll have to do that. What places do you, when you think about small business, shopping at a small business, what shops come to your mind there locally where you are?
I think of the boutiques, first of all. So we have a local boutique called Monkeycitos, and Monkeycitos is owned by a woman named Darlene who has a fantastic heart. And she has all like healthy green, baby products. So it's not just your plastic from China. They have some of the green and healthy items there that you can get sort of specialty, which a lot of boutiques, that's what they do, is they have. And that's the benefit of going to a boutique, is that you get something really unique. You get something that you probably don't see every day in the big box retailers. You also get really good customer service typically in a lot of these boutiques. And you can really start developing relationships with your local business owners. And that's fun because you become friends with these people and you want to support these people and they want to support you. And it brings the community together.
Right. Yeah.
So, and another... I'll go ahead. Okay. And another one that I think of is the local spa or salon. Most of those places have gift cards and they have Black Friday specials also typically. And those are small businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are too. Yeah, I have a girlfriend that owns well, I call it a beauty shop, but it's a salon, where people get their hair cut. And, I think about them, how, people, we just need to frequent those places. And I know it's easy to go, and pay, $6 or $12 and get your hair cut at the big, places. But, frequenting those salons, that are privately owned are important too. Here in Nashville, we've got two places that stand out for me. One is called Pangea, and they're kind of similar. One is called Pangea, and it has been opened since 1987 here in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
And they sell like kind of eclectic, kind of vintage clothing, Guatemalan type imports, and it's been like they have, when they first started, they were like in one little location, and then that place just kind of mushroomed, and they kind of did like a, those real fancy walking kind of mall-y looking areas, and so they've grown with them, and they're still there, which is awesome. But they have like, books and toys and quirky gifts and, jewelry. I love their jewelry there. And so I always think about Pangea when I think about small businesses. And then another place that's very similar is Scarlet Begonia, which is near one of our parks and near our universities. And they are also kind of very import type stores, and they have, things from all countries, and you just never know what you're going to find there. It's just, it's always interesting. And then of course if you're not in Nashville, then I love those places that give back, like Seiko, that are, is that how you say it? It's Sesseko. Seiko.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you knew, but I was like, I bet she already knows about Seiko. Seiko has, now they are not a nonprofit, so they are a for-profit company, but they give back. They're online. They have an online presence, and they give back to the, they're getting these products from overseas, from someplace in Africa, and I wish I had those notes in front of me, but I don't. But and they actually use that money that they're purchasing things, but they're having the people there in that third world country actually put things together for them. And so they're creating jobs, they're buying from, locally from that country, and then they're actually doing kind of what we were talking about earlier, which is doing like kind of making those like you have to have a hostess to do it,
so it's like direct sales.
Yeah, like direct sales. Yeah.
Okay.
So I like those too. I mean, I like Seiko, and then there's of course I already talked about Fair Trade Friday, which I love. I love all their stuff. Yeah.
Well, the other thing you can't really totally negate is that even though there are big national companies that people recognize, for instance, certain types of restaurants, a lot of things that are really quick, easy things. There's always that gift that you forget about. There's always that person you forgot about on accident, or that gift that came up, like all of a sudden your Bible study wants to do a white elephant gift exchange, and you're like, oh shoot, I need to get a gift card really fast, and if you want to go to Chick-fil-A, if you want to go to Subway, if you want to go to these different places to get a gift card that somebody can really use, most of those places are franchised, and those are small business owners.
That's true.
You look at it and you see Subway and you think, oh, it's Subway, a big company. Well, you know what? Somebody owns that location.
Right.
And that's their small business. So don't forget about that when you're thinking about those kinds of gift cards versus a Target gift card or something like that.
Yep. That is so true. I love that. That you're pointing that out, because it's absolutely, true. When you're putting your money in somebody else's, pot, and they're able to, like you said, go to Disney World with their family, pay for those lessons, and, you're supporting that person. So I think the moral of the whole thing is, get to know the people that you're, handing money to. I mean, get to know the people that you're, the businesses that you're walking into, and find out, more about them. So that's happening a lot here in Nashville, where people are really connecting with each other. And I just read an article, I think it was on Inc. or Entrepreneur, where they're saying, businesses are wanting to focus on connecting with other people and other businesses more than they're trying to just like sell you something, which is, I think that's a great, move, because
Yeah.
we want to know where our money's going to, or at least
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, no, and it's so true. And you have cultures like Nashville and like Austin, Texas, and different little pockets in the country that have just a rise in entrepreneurship and that community connectedness that some other places don't have. So, but you can typically find a place like that. I mean, particularly, I mean, small towns are like that in general, just because
Right.
that's sort of their economy makeup. But in larger cities, there are definitely boutique areas. There are definitely those places there. You just need to find them and support those companies.
Yep. Yep. This has been so much fun. I
Yes.
love that you are just like a plethora of information for us, and I love all the stuff that you mentioned, and I hope that one day I'll be able to taste that pumpkin ice cream.
Girl.
I'm gonna like I hate that you're moving, because you're moving to like further away from me, which is not fun.
I know. But we love Nashville so much, and
You'll
we've
have
been
to
there
come.
several times. We will be back for sure.
That would be awesome. And I will have everything ready. I'll go to Williams Sonoma, I'll buy whatever, just so you can make me that pumpkin ice cream.
Yeah, for sure. I'll do it. It's so worth it.
Sounds delicious. Thanks so much, Autumn, for coming on.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It was so fun.